SMT Nation, we are back. Nation, in today's video, we've got a huge update. There is definitely pushback with the proposed deal between T-Mobile and US Cellular. The deal is pretty big for T-Mobile. It really does make them a bigger, better network upon close. I mean, there's like tower site deals involved. There's spectrum assets and all types of new capacity that comes to the table for T-Mobile. I mean, there's a ton of ways where it's going to benefit T-Mobile, that's for sure. But there's some other things involved, some nuances, and of course, there's pushback. Not everybody is happy about this. So I want to talk about that pushback. We got an update here. Some interesting characters getting involved, voicing their displeasures. All right, let's start first with the first company who is not happy about this proposed deal, and that is Echostar. You guys might know them as Dish Network, Dish Wireless, Boost Mobile, however you know them. They actually went ahead and teamed up with several different groups, some of them public interest groups, some involved in representing unions, trade associations, and other groups. But this $4.4 billion proposed deal has some hefty opposition. Let's start first with Echostar Dish. Okay, so their stance is basically T-Mobile is looking for a continued extreme dominance within the industry, monopolistic tendencies, and all of those types of negative things. For what it's worth, T-Mobile and Dish aren't friends. They haven't been friends for a long time. They've had public spats. There's been name calling. There's been, some pretty nasty things that have happened within business deals between these two companies. And a lot of that really has been T-Mobile being nasty in a lot of different ways, like basically putting their neck on Dish's, or their knee on Dish's neck, and trying to choke them out to just put an end to it, right? To make their business suffer and to keep them from thriving and other things, right? So there's no love lost here, right? So Echostar, and this is kind of the objective piece to this video. These companies aren't friendly, and Dish isn't getting anything out of this deal. So T-Mobile obviously is getting something out of this deal. Verizon and AT&T also have secondary deals with US Cellular once the T-Mobile deal closes. So they're not going to publicly push back on this at all, right? They're going to want the T-Mobile piece to go through because then their parts of the deal can also go through. The other groups that are kind of pushing back are the Communications Workers of America, which represent unions across both AT&T and Verizon. I'm not sure what the situation is with T-Mobile, but I don't think they have anything there. You have the Rural Wireless Association has also pushed back. So a bunch of public interest groups, really not with this. I'll also throw out that, there have been a lot of states that have really pushed back against T-Mobile because, again, T-Mobile has made some enemies across the years, especially since the T-Mobile and Sprint merger was approved several years ago in 2020. So, in the grand scheme of things, Dish can voice its opinion publicly, and all these other groups can push back and try to offer resistance. But the truth is that this is going to be dictated by the FCC, by the Department of Justice. There's a review process for these things. The only thing that's going to take some time, I think, is the fact that Deutsche Telekom, the parent company, majority shareholder of T-Mobile, is kind of where this gets a little sticky and probably requires some additional review. But I don't know. Maybe Dish wants something out of this. Maybe they're just trying to put a wrench into the woodwork, just trying to trip them up in some way. But I just don't see it happening. In the grand scheme of things, I think this deal gets done. And we're about to go into a Trump administration where literally anybody can do whatever they want. It's a deregulatory haven. You know what I mean? It'll be that kind of era. So we'll see what happens. I'll continue to track this. If there's any more opposition or fighting to push back here, I'll get you guys those updates. We'll see who it is and if it matters. So far, I don't think there's enough there to keep this deal from happening. And so far, I still think this deal will indeed close in the next year, whether Dish likes it or not. As much as I like to support the CWA, as well as those rural groups, I don't think they have the cachet, the power, or the ability to do too much. But what do you guys think? Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on all of this. You're the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.